Hello, good evening, everybody. You're welcome once again to class six. Yes, today is going to be the final recap class for the Python for Data Science bootcamp module. And I want to say that well done to everybody that has been committed right from day one of this program. And today we'll be doing like a final wrap up, and I'll be showing you through what you're expected to do on your projects. So today's class, it's on the data analysis with Python Capstone project walkthrough. All right. For our questions, we have the Slido link. So if you have questions, you can start dropping it via this link. All right. So we're going to get started really quick. Going through the LMS, you should have covered the work project walkthrough for the past bootcamp. So I'm just going to show you around what you're expected to do. I won't go into specific details because all the details have been covered in the previous videos on the LMS and on YouTube as well. Okay, so I'm just trying to navigate the LMS. Okay, so today is this day, November 1st. So we are currently in the live class session. And then the project had been uploaded since yesterday. And then there is a video on Wednesday, which should have looked through on the project Capstone project walkthrough for the past bootcamp and the expectation was expected of it. So go through this video for further in-depth instructions and how to go about the project. But today I'll just be showing you expectation, what is expected of you for a typical Python or a data Python for data analysis project. So this is we did Python for data science, like we learned all the basics of Python. From the one we learned we started from variables and data type. And then we went through data structures, we went through for loops and conditionals. Then after which we looked at two different packages in Python, three, the pandas package, the numpy, and the seaborn package. So with all this, like you have the basic skill sets to approach a project, a Python project for data science. Now, for if you have any problem at hand with regarding data analytics or data science, right, and you want to use Python to solve that problem, the first step is to identify what problem am I what problem do I want to solve? What particular thing am I trying to address? It could be problem related to health. It could be a problem related to education, to climate change, power, or whatever sector you have in mind. You can begin to think of that problem, and then that would guide you to the kind of data sets that you would be researching on or you'll be using to solve that problem. So if you are a typical, maybe you're doing the research work and you want to solve a problem related to data science, you have to pick a niche. You have to understand, okay, what area am I focusing on? What is the domain I want to solve the problem? However, if you are in a company and you're working for a particular organization, and you want to bring in your data skills into that company, for example, maybe aviation, for example, and then as a data analyst or a data scientist, you have to get to know, okay, what data is available. Now you can see the two different courses or two different routes to solving problem. You have to start looking at, okay, what data is available that I can start researching on. You could have data related to flight schedules and maybe flight delays, or maybe it could have data related to maintenance, the aircraft maintenance, how the aircraft have been going on maintenance, and you have data related to that, or you could have the data related to quality audits, different type of data. You could have the data related to maybe crew scheduling, crew scheduling. Yes, you could have data related to different areas within the organization. So now you have to pick those data set and begin to research and to see if you can find out about, like, uncover some insights from those data set. Okay, so I just thought to bring these two approaches to solving problems regarding data science. Now, for this particular project, so we are approaching it as a research project, and the instruction for capstone projects is that you have to, now during the course of this program, you have learned some key skills. We've learned Python basics. You've learned NumPy, how to use NumPy. You've learned how to use pandas. You've learned how to do data analysis in Python during the course of this program. Now, when you're doing data analysis is just one part of the data science of a data science pipeline. You have other pipelines, right? But for the set for a data science project, the first step is after gathering your data, you have to start doing your data analysis. And that's why this project is focused on data. So I'll quickly go through the project instructions, and then I would take questions if you have any. All right, and then we'll do a general wrap up. Okay. So for this task, you should get a data set of your choice, create business questions, analyze the data sets, clean it, exploit, and create visualization to uncover insights, and present your results in a Jupyter notebook or publish your results on a Streamlit app. So during the course of this program, we also touched on Streamlit, and then you can, as a data and scientist or a data analyst, beyond just analyzing your data and uncovering insights, to further make your work more to further make people see the result of what you're doing, you can publish it as a dashboard, and you can do like visualization with it, and that's what Streamlit enables you to do. So Streamlit is a platform where you can build a dashboard. You can use the app to build a front end dashboard where people can interact with it, or you could use it to build an app where people can interact with it. Okay, so for this work, you're going to download from any of the sources or other sources of your choice. So there are different data sets that you can use. If you're looking for government related data, you could go to data.gov. You're looking for any other data set. So one of some of the data sets we used during the course of this program was from Kaggle. We're from Kaggle. So we have Kaggle, another is a data science platform where you can go to download data sets. So during the course of the bootcamp, at the beginning of this bootcamp, we mentioned that you should create an account on Kaggle. So when you create an account on Kaggle, you have access to some resources like competitions. You can participate in competitions. You have access to lots of data sets, that real life data sets that people had actually worked on and published for people to work further on. All right, so you can have access to these data sets to experiment with and to use it for your own personal work, or for the sake of learning. All right, so we also have the data search that's from Google. We have the data set research.google.com. So when you go to this page, you can search for data. Maybe you'll need data related to climate. You have a climate change data or whatever data set you're looking for. So when you search, you'll see some data sets that you can you can download. So this is a data set, climate change impact on air quality and human health. The data set contains model temperature, ozones, and PM 2.5 data for the United States over 24 using 2 global climate model scenarios and 2 emission data. So you have a 100 plus data sets on this platform related to climate. So you can pick anyone that suits your interest. All right, so that's another site where you can get data set from. Then we have the sorry, I'm back on this page. Okay, so we have datahub.io, business and finance related data sets. If you want to do a machine learning task, you have more data sets, health related data, entertainment and movies. You have another data sets, another website called the bfi.org.uk. So these are real life data sets that you can, really work with and experiments with. So for this project, in the past, on the video on the LMS, we picked a data set from Kaggle that has to do with an airline satisfaction data set. And I wouldn't want to go over that because that video is available. All right. It's available on previous recording. So we had an airline passenger satisfaction data set. That was what we worked on in our last bootcamp. So you can go over the video, look at how the workshop was done. So this is the data set we use. So assuming you have this data sets, the first thing to check, you check for check for the content to see if it's something that interests you. So here you can see that it's a data set related to airline passengers. So there was a survey that was carried out by an airline, and then you have factors, you have different factors, questions that were asked by different customers, right? And then there is a place, a column that says whether the customer is actually satisfied with the services or not. So this is a typical data set that was used in our past video. So you can just go over it and then look throughout. Look at how we approach the solution. So take a cue from the example project explained to you in the class on the LMS, and then you can use Python, Jupyter Notebook, Pandas, Seaborn, or Matplotlib, Streamlit, or any other tool that would aid your work. So after you've done, you can follow the tutorial. So in that tutorial, the part of you doing your data exploration, after reading your data set, you check for data integrity to be sure that the data set you have, since you didn't gather the data yourself, right, you have to be sure that that data set is usable. So you check for duplicate values, you check for missing values, right? So when you do all of that, and because there are times that you can get a data set and then it's like maybe 100,000 records, and out of that 100,000 records, what if you have just 20 unique records and all other records are actually duplicated, they are the same. So that means that data set is not really usable, right? So it's not about the volume. You have to be sure of the quality of the data that you are getting. Okay, so also you'd have to, after checking the data quality, you will then start your data exploration. So last class, we looked at how to do some typical data exploration, reading in your data sets, checking, having some business questions, like in this passenger satisfaction data set. There are some things that are like interesting to me. I want to find out what are the key things that the things that really make your customers satisfied, because that's the goal. Is that airline passengers, you carried out the survey, that's the case study. Your data gathering phase, like I mentioned, you can get your data from several sources. It could be from the company's database. It could be you gathering it yourself, like carrying out the survey and you send it out and then people fill it and then you have your data already gathered, right? Or it could be maybe the data is stored somewhere and you have access to it. But in this case, a survey was carried out and your what you're actually, you have some questions that you have in mind, like we call it hypothesis. You want to find out, okay, what are the things that, what are the factors that actually makes a customer satisfied or not? Because the end goal of your data analytics, right, is to to uncover patterns or insights such that you're able to make educated decisions regarding the situation in your organization or regarding the situation that you're solving, right? For if you're employed as a data analyst or a data scientist, or they would expect you to help them improve their operations to improve profit. And part of improving profit is to, give them good information. They don't, you can't just you can't the people don't want to make decisions based on assumption. You don't want to assume that, oh, it's okay, maybe because we have a sophisticated aircraft, then that's why our passengers are satisfied. That is just an assumption. That's not backed by data. But you, as a data analyst or a data scientist, you are carrying out this research to justify some assumptions. Okay, so maybe you're part of the assumption that was given by your management could be like, okay, can you check part of the assumptions? You can include them in your questions when you're designing your questionnaire. You can include them in your questions. Like here, you can see that there are a couple of in-flight Wi-Fi service. Okay, those are like you want to determine if maybe their level of satisfaction is based on in-flight Wi-Fi service. So you could just include that in your question. Is it the gate location? Is it the food that we are giving you? Is it the comfortability of the seats? Is it the in-flight entertainment? Is it onboard service? Different questions like that. So, but then out of all these questions, we want to know what to actually focus on or what to improve as an airline, right? So as a data analyst, you're going to use your tools, your Python, Pandas, Seaborn knowledge to help us analyze the data that had been gathered. The customers have filled all of carried out, they've carried out the survey, the customers have filled all those information. And so you want to explore and find out, okay, what's actually causing this what's actually contributing to the satisfaction of your customers. Okay, so in the process of doing that, right, you will do some data exploration. You do some data exploration, like having to, like, okay, I just pulled out the notebook that I have here. So we expect you to present your work on the Jupyter notebook like this, where you state where your data set is from, right? And the metadata, okay? The link to the data set and all the information on the about the column. So you're going to write like a report, as if you're reporting what you did, right? Then you do your importations, you do the necessary you start your data exploration. So here we did we have the train test and the train and the test data sets that we gotten from that Kaggle website. So here you can see that this is how the data set looks like. You have the gender, the age, and all of that, the type of travel and everything. So the next thing that was done is to check if there were duplicate values. And here found out that none of them were duplicated. So we are sure that, okay, we are having a very good data. Then you checked it. So what we went through during the last class, like you're trying to investigate your data set. So this data set has about 129,880 entries. Okay, and here you could see all of that information about the data. Now that you're satisfied about those information, you can now start, doing some exploration. Okay. So you check for duplicates, which you've done before, right? And then you can now start your data exploration. All right. So in the process of the data exploration, you want to find out some things about the data set. Okay. You want to find out the flight, because here there's something called the flight distance. There was a column called flight distance. So we want to know, okay, what's this flight distance about? Here, let's even check the data dictionary to see, okay, the flight distance is the flight distance of your journey. All right. Okay, so we want to see, okay, so we check the flight distance of a particular, for a particular flight. So that flight distance, by intuition, it could mean the people that are that has the same flight distance are actually maybe on the same aircraft. Okay, but that's not totally, it might not be totally correct, because you could have the same destinations with the same flight distance. So we're trying to see if the this whole survey was just done on a single maybe for different destinations, different aircrafts, right? So, but moving forward, you can now start asking questions. How many unique passengers? How many male and female were on the the survey cover, the survey cover, right? You can now start doing your plots. How many will? So from here, that will give you like some key insight about the data set. Here you can see that with this Seaborn plots, we're able to plot that, okay, we had the males and the female. Among the males and the females, we had like what? More business class females than male. And also you had more economic class females than male. So generally we had more females on that that actually filled that survey than males. So you can keep that information by your right hand, or you can just keep it somewhere. All right. So, but then you have other information, like you can do some more plots. Here you're checking still gender against age. Okay, here this was gender, just the count of the gender. Now you can see the age distribution of the people on the aircraft. So looking at this data set, you might not be able to tell that. So you first of all do some what's the word now? The demographic analysis. Like you check in the age distribution, the location, the number of male and female. If you have a location data set, you're checking the location. This is something that has to do with their demography, and something that tells you like the information about the people that you are analyzing, if you're dealing with people or customers. So you do some demographic analysis. All right, so moving forward, so you can see that the males and the females, you have more of when you check the female and the male, they are kind of equally distributed. Now this blue is telling you that this is echo, the people on Echo Plus. Echo Plus, then you have the next class is the business class, and then the Echo. So the biggest business class is actually I think the business class is higher than the Echo Plus, then you have the Echo next. Yeah, so you have like a bit of equal distribution between the male and the female gender. Yeah, but then you're seeing that the age range of the male gender, right, is kind of, if we don't have a perfect line around this, but then they are almost equal. Yeah, so you can see this graph here. So this is a box plot, right, which tells you, okay, this is the minimum age, the maximum age, and then you have the 25%. This had been explained in previous class. So all of this gives you like a story about the data set you're working on. So also we checked, okay, let's compare their satisfaction level, the classes. Now we want to know which classes are actually more satisfied. on our aircraft as an airline, which classes are actually more satisfied with. So we have here with this plot, you're able to tell a story that, okay, this Eco on the Eco Plus category, right? The people that were actually satisfied are between the ages of 30 to 50, right? You have more, and then on the among the people, because we are talking about satisfaction, because satisfaction is color coded words. This is like orange, so you have more people satisfied on the economy class compared to other classes. So you can see that many of the people that are in the economy, and maybe because of their volume, maybe we have more people in the economy class as well. So, but then you have many people in the economy class satisfied compared to the business class, right? And the age range of the business class, the people in the business class are between the ages of 36 to 55, like looking at their percentile arrangement. So this, you're able to start answering some questions regarding your data set. Now, moving further, you can still do, more plots. How many destinations? How many destinations? Destination was not included in it, but you can use the flight distance to know the unique destinations, because the flight distance is telling you that, okay, the number of I mean, that's from point A to point B, the distance between one point to the other. So we can count the unique destinations, tell us, okay, in our analysis we had about 3,821. You can use your value count to check that. 21 destinations that we analyzed. Okay. And here you can see that we had about 61,990 business class. We had more people in the business class compared to the other classes. All right, so I'm trying to look for this DF new, what the DF new is about. Okay, still our data set. All right, so moving forward, okay, so you can do more analysis. So when you in the last previous video, we did everything in depth, so you can just check it out. Then you can look for there are still more key questions you can ask. How many people are actually loyal customers, and how many are disloyal customers? So in our data set, we have something like the customer type. Those are actually loyal and disloyal. So you can do the count of them as well from your data set. The people that you can check the counts based on the type of travel. We had 89,000 plus business travels, and then we have 40,000 plus personal travels. So at the end of all of this, right, you can you gather all your plots together and put together a presentation. So you're expected to have, so there are several visuals you can do. You can do so many visuals with your with 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 your data set. You can do so many other visuals with your data sets, right? Okay, so after putting all the information together, once you're done with generating all your results and you're satisfied, you're going to put together a PowerPoint presentation, because that's what will be used for the demo. Okay, so you're going to put together a PowerPoint presentation. So you'll be submitting your Jupyter notebook and as well your PowerPoint presentation. So on this presentation slide, you will have so you're going to just use the one related to your project. For example, if you're doing the daily, so we're going to be having projects across the different tracks. We have the data analysis, the Power BI, and the machine learning project. So if you're doing a project on data analysis, just focus on the slides for data analysis, and you're uploading, you're sharing, you're not working on this particular slide, you're just using the templates, okay? So okay, anyway, this slide I don't think is editable. So you just copy out or create a copy of the slide and just edit, or this is just a template of what we expect. We are just expecting like a 4 slide from you, your name, put your name, just a bit information about you. Then you could just use logos, probably where you're schooling or where you're working at, and then data science bootcamp at Data Gen Z Africa. Then that's the first slide. Then second slide, we'll be talking about your project title. For example, you're carrying out a data exploration on airline satisfaction, the satisfaction of airline customers, or just give a project title. All right, then the first thing you'll tell us is, where did you get your data sets from? We're interested to know that. And then you mention a bit about your data sets, like how many rows did you analyze? How many columns did you analyze? What's the file size of the data that you analyzed? Okay. And then you're going to mention key factors. For example, in the case of the passenger satisfaction, during my data exploration, I can begin to see trends of what actually affects I didn't go into that, but you can begin to see trends of what actually affects the satisfaction of our customers. Was it the in-flight entertainment? Was it the food? Was it the flight distance? Okay, so you mentioned those key factors here in your analysis. You tell us, okay, what are the key factors that you identified during your data exploration? So in this case, this is a sample, so just use this template. And then the third slide, you just give us screenshots, or if you're able to do a Streamlit dashboard, that's great, but then you just show us some visuals that you generated during the course of your analysis, and then you explain to us what those visuals represent. So that is what you'll be presenting. So you're just going to be presenting those 4 slides, and that's also, you'll be at the end of putting together your presentation slides and your Jupyter notebook. Okay, you're going to go to this form. There is a Google form. You go to the Google form and then you submit. What is this thing? Or maybe there was a mistake with the link. I will check up the link, what's happened to the link. Okay, let me copy this. Okay. Okay. We'll check what is happening to the link anyways. All right, so this is where you submit your project. You just put in your name, project title, then you share your link. Maybe you uploaded your project to GitHub. Then you upload the files. You upload your Python notebook and your PowerPoint slides. Okay, and then you submit. All right. So that is the way you're going to approach your project. Okay. So at this point, I'll stop to take questions. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Do we have any questions regarding the project? Okay, so if there are no questions, let me check the Slido link if you have any questions as well. All right, so okay, so I would take some of the questions on the link, on the Slido link. The projects, okay, so on the LMS, the Python for Data Science project, you have about roughly a month to turn it in. So we'll be having our demo day, our demo session on week 8 of the bootcamp. Okay, so we're having it on week 8 of the bootcamp. November 29th. Okay, so you should be submitting it November 29th. So you have like about roughly 29 days or 28 days to turn it in. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can always reach out regarding that as well. Okay, so let me just take some of the questions on Slido. Okay, so the first question says, how possible is it to create a custom tool in Python for reconciling data from two systems using a common reference? Any tips or recommendation? The question is very, it's not so clear. It's not so clear because I'm trying to, if you're here and you ask the question, you can try to further expatiate on what you mean. Like from two systems, you mean, how do you mean? Are you talking about you having the, I don't get the question. It's not very clear. Please try to clarify the question so that it will be more I'll be able to answer it. Okay, thank you, Joseph. Joseph is also here. One of our tutors is around. Thank you for joining today, our volunteers. Thank you for joining. All right, so the next question, let me see. It says, how can I ask relevant questions for my data analysis about the independent and dependent variable if I have multiple dependent columns? Okay, so if I get you correctly, you're asking, how can you ask questions about the independent and dependent variables if you have multiple dependent columns? So the independent variables is the question, the columns that your future columns. Okay, I'm trying to clarify the question for the sake of people that maybe might not be familiar with the terms independent and dependent variable. It's usually used when you're doing machine learning. Okay, so maybe for example, in this airline data passenger satisfaction data sets, we have similar, I think it's similar to the question you're asking. So we have so many columns. We have the gender, customer type, age, travel, type of travel class, flight distance, and all. And then here we are saying that our target column, that is what it's actually informing our kind of data analysis, is the satisfaction column. So this satisfaction column is a dependent variable, and then the other columns are the independent variables. Okay. Okay, so the question is saying that how to ask relevant question about the independent and dependent variable if you have multiple dependent columns. Okay, in this case, you're saying that you have more than one dependent column. So usually you would always have to streamline your questions towards a particular goal. Okay, is either what you want to know, what problem am I actually solving? You're solving one problem at a time, not too many problems at the same time. Okay, so here in this case, my goal actually is passenger satisfaction. How do I improve satisfaction of passengers on my airline? Because I know once my passengers are satisfied, it translates to them, boarding my airline every time, choosing us as the preferred airline, and that translates to what increase in what revenue. All right, so here my focus is how to improve passenger satisfaction. What are the once you know what the problems you're solving, you'll be able to ask relevant questions. I want to know, what are the factors that affect passenger satisfaction? What are the things I need to focus on? Am I supposed to focus on in-flight service? If for my survey, I'm able to gather my data analysis telling me that, oh, from our analysis, we're able to identify that, okay, because you are delaying the aircraft, we have departure delays, high departure delays, and that's why our passengers are not actually satisfied. Then I'll take note of that, right? I have to take I have to take note of that, and then I would have to, use that to further improve my services. So like here now, you can see here from this plot, you can see that, sorry, excuse me, the people in the economy class, you have more persons in the economy class that are actually neutral or dissatisfied. And then you have like an equal balance of them in the economy class. And then the people in the business class and the people in the business class, you have a lot of business class people, just few of them that are satisfied, and more of them are dissatisfied. So in looking at the distribution of the three classes, you can say on this airline we have many people, many dissatisfied customers than satisfied customers. Now you're trying to identify, okay, which class am I supposed to focus on from this analysis? I'll say, okay, I'll need to focus on the people on my economy, because I know that we have more of them that are dissatisfied. Now, the other things are, what are the factors causing them to be dissatisfied? Then I can now filter my data set and say, okay, let me focus on let me cut out the people in economy, the data set. I can slice my data set and just extract those people in economy, and then further do analysis on, among the people in the economy class, what is actually causing, what factor is causing them to be dissatisfied? Is it check-in service? Is it in-flight service? So with visualization, that would help you achieve that. So when you do in-depth analysis like that, okay, it kind of informs the management's decision on what to do in terms of improving the services within that organization. So I believe that answers that question. So that's on a single dependent variable. So for every problem you're having, okay, a single case at hand. So you can't say that, okay, I want to be dealing with satisfaction and I want to be dealing with another thing, except you treat them as separate entities. You first of all deal with satisfaction, and then you also deal with the other issue that you're trying to solve. I don't know if that answers your questions. Okay, so I'm trying to read some other questions about on the chat. The next question says, about the presentation slides, do we download them to use, or we use it online and share? So you download them. It's going to be so long as we have access to it, right? You can decide to download it, work on it, and submit the download on the Google form, or you share your online link, which is accessible to us, so long as we have access to it, all right? That's that answers that. Then can we work on other data set aside from yes, you can. Yes, you can work on other data sets, so long as you cite where your data, when you're submitting your work, you cite where you got your data from, and then we can access the data set as well, so that we can check what you've done. All right, so the next question says, okay, Streamlit needs to be explicitly explained. It seems to be a bit tricky navigating through the portal, speaking from experience. Yeah, so because we don't have so much time in this program, this program is like 3 weeks, and there is a lot to cover within 3 weeks, and we're not having everyday classes. We just have like 4 hours in a week to come together to, you know, to treat some concepts. So we had to focus on the more, you know, data science Python related concept. So Trinlist is just like an add-on. And that's why the videos gave, if you look through the previous recording, it gave like a walkthrough on how to use just the basic use of Streamlit. So the more you exploit, the more you're able to get around the use of Streamlit. Okay, so if you are having issues with Streamlit, watch the video on the Python video on Streamlit that was posted on the LMS, and our recording as well, our past recording as well. Okay. Do we have any other questions? For the person that posted the first question on creating a custom tool in Python for reconciling data, you can clarify the question so that it can be answered. If you're on the call, you can try and clarify it so that the question can be answered. Okay, Andrew, do you have a question? All right, let me give you the audience to talk. Okay, you can ask your question. You can unmute and ask your question.
Yes, good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this session, and also thank you so much for this program. Okay, I was just trying to inquire. I asked that question. I'm trying to create a custom tool
Okay.
which can analyze that data from two systems. One is like, let me say, if I have data from a bank statement, and then I have data from maybe another system. Let's say data from like a payment gateway, but I'm trying to do the reconciliation, but I want something customized with Python, basing on these things that you have taught us, NumPy, Pandas.
Okay.
Then also, since I'm not the one to use the tool, I would like the tool to be able to be accessible to someone else. So I was also thinking of bringing in the aspect of Streamlit to create some
Okay.
kind of interface for the non-technical users, but it's still a bit hypothetical for me, so I'm trying to figure out how I could be able to do it.
Okay.
Maybe for any tips or recommendations. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Okay. The question is clear now, Andrew. All right. So, there are times that you might be working with different data sources. Okay. Now you're combining you have to combine the knowledge of software, you'll have to write some customized Python scripts for that purpose, because in the process of data analysis you have to do your data collection, data inputs into your Python notebook if you're using a notebook, or your Python file if you're using it, the Python file, your py file for that purpose. So for example, if you're using you want to get data from SQL and you want to get data from your from a website. So for the SQL, you have to create SQL connection. You have to create some SQL connection based on your database. You have to create a connection that interacts with the data. So that is another, it's not core data analysis, it's more into software development. Like you have to create your database connection that would pull out the data. And in creating your data connection, you must have some, keys, some passwords, and all of that embedded before you can create that connection. After which, when you've created the connection, you can now query the database and import it into your Python file that you want to work on. And then if for each of those entry points, you have to create a connection. If you're getting from an HTML, you just use your pd.read_html and enter the URL, and then you're able to read in that data set. Okay. Having read the data set, you can now do your merge, and you're able to do your analysis. Whatever analysis you're doing, you do the analysis, and then afterwards you can, publish your work on Streamlit. So the whole process of going around that, right? Following I don't know if you had time to go through the past recordings, because we shared a bit on how to publish your results on Streamlit, like connecting your Python notebook to your Streamlit interface, where you can, show what you're working on from your Python file to your Streamlit. So we're unable to cover that much in this during our time here, because our time is just more on recaps. There's no time for so much in-depth explanations on some of these key concepts, and that's why we reference the recordings. So if you can go through the recordings as well, you should be able to further do that. But what you just said is possible, so long as you can do the connections. For example, if I want to read in an HTML file, and at the same time I want to read in, let me just use another sample notebook that let me look at this notebook. Okay, let me just try to use this. Okay, file, you can just file one. For example, you're on, usually you have to use maybe your VS Code or your Python, your VS Code environment, not the Jupyter Notebook. When you want to write a core Python file, like you want to use Streamlit, for example, you would be using your VS Code more, Visual Studio Code, or other IDs to do that, because this Python notebook is more for interactivity, you interacting with your data and then having the outputs for you, and maybe just for reporting sake. But if you want to build a core software application, you might not be able to do that with Jupyter Notebook. So that's why you have to make use of your VS Code environment. So for example, you have to define the input entry for maybe you're reading, the first file could be a CSV file, right? It could be an HTML, it could be a JSON file. Then you read your CSV file, and then you read the file two, if it's from your if it's from HTML, or if it's an SQL engine, you define it and you read your file. So once you're able to read in these two files, or if it's whatever source you're reading, so you can now use this file as you can just do your maybe you want to do like a merge, depending on the kind of the file outputs, right? You can do a merge. You can use your concat to merge the two files together, depending on what the files look like. Okay, so you can do your concatenate to concatenate the two files together. So a pd.concatenate, and then you concat file one and file two together, and then you can start. It becomes a bigger table like this, and then a bigger table like this, like the table that was printed up here, it becomes a bigger table, and then you can now start your analysis. And then when you're done, you're able to put your analysis on Streamlit. So using Streamlit is, I can't just start going over another Streamlit tutorial now, because of our time. It would go to something that it would take like several sessions to do that. So that's why I've referred you to the tutorials on ground and then other tutorials as well. So I don't know if I was able to answer your question.
Yes, that helps a lot. Thank you so much. I will
All right.
just start building from there. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other questions? Any other questions? This is an opportunity for you to ask questions. Please ask your questions. Any other questions? Questions, comments, observations. This is an open forum now. Please ask your questions.
Hello, good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Yes, please, I don't know, but I think some of them here might still be getting messages after this class, like to attend maybe classes in the nearest future. I don't know. Like, what's your advice to them? I think you should say something about it.
Okay, I didn't get the question. You said some persons might be getting messages.
Yes, they might be getting like maybe invites to join classes, like even after their originally registered course. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay,
I,
you
I, yes, I personally had that experience. Like after I registered for Python then, but then after Python classes, I was still having messages to join other classes.
okay. You mean that follow up after this boot camp? What next, right? After this course, what next? For what is the next thing for everyone to expect? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We're still coming to that. We're still coming to the next steps, but I just wanted to know if people had questions related to, the concept towards the 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 lessons and all. That's why I was just, asking, but we'll be coming to what are the next steps afterwards from now. Thank you for that.
Welcome. All right.
All right. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, we would be just be sharing some next step. I just wanted to, for the sake of Andrew, I wanted to pull out one application, but I don't know if I can get that quick. That I deployed using Streamlit. Okay, so that you can have a view of what the interaction should look like. Let me just try to get that if I can. I didn't prepare that for this class, but then let me just see if I can get my hands on it. Just a minute. Let me see what I can do quickly. Um, I'm still trying to bring it out. Okay. Just a minute. Let me see what I can do quickly. So okay, I'm unable to pull it out. I'm trying to pull up the application. So if I can't get it, I think it's on my GitHub. Let me check my GitHub profile and see if I can pull it out from there. Okay, so uh let me open. Okay. Okay, so this is this, I don't know if you can see my screen. Yeah. So this is an AutoML project that deployed using Streamlit. So what it's doing is it made use of some libraries that instead of you doing your machine learning analysis from scratch, you're able to like use an AI to do the analysis for you. All the data cleaning, the data analysis you're doing using Python, the AI is able to do all of this. So when you're using this Streamlit app, so let me just open the application. Let me see okay, this is the app. So let me launch the app. Oh, okay. Let me get it back up. Okay, so it's taking a while to load. So I just want to show you um what this is doing. This was deployed using Streamlit, okay? So what the user does is you can always upload like this e-commerce or this airline data sets that we worked on. You can browse and put in your data sets. It does the data analysis for you automatically. It does the modeling. It builds the machine learning model for you automatically. And then you can download your results without writing a single line of code. Okay, so at the back end, this is taking a while. At the back, it's different from what you're trying to what you're saying though, because I wasn't working with a database. I didn't use a database in this case. I used some other libraries to deploy this. So I used some AutoML libraries to deploy this. So in this case, this is taking a while to load, right? In this case, you can you can I want to show you the back end of the code. Okay, so now this is the place where I take in the data set from the user. So assuming I'm working with a database, right? I need to gather, I'm not collecting the data set from the user. This is where I'm going to enter my data, my endpoints, my database endpoints, where it fetches the result, but then I would have defined some dependencies. I could have other folders that has to do with connection or database connection on my Python. So this is more like you're writing a Python app. It's different from your Jupyter notebook environment now. You're putting in some background of software development with your data science knowledge. So you have to fetch those data sets. If there are 2 data sets or 3 data sets, whatever data you have, so you have to define each variable and bring it into your projects, right? Before you now do, maybe start performing your analysis and all of that, on your data sets, and you start your you start whatever thing you want to do with your data set. So here I was doing something different, which is not it's not part of what is in the curriculum of this class, so I don't need to go into all of that. But then Stream is a very good, I didn't really have to do some backend CSS and HTML myself. I just used some Streamlit functions. Like to develop that sidebar, I just used with st.sidebar, and I was able to put in an image with st.image, put in a title with st.title, put in a selection box that can take in user input with st.radio, put in the info with st.info, and then some other things that are dynamic too as well. I was able to do that. So that's kind of would help you form how to use the Streamlit application. It's a very good tool to use once you learn it. And that's why we said you should try to reproduce the app on the LMS. I don't know how many people tried that, so that you have like a kind of a basic knowledge on how to launch a project using Streamlit. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Any other questions before we call it a wrap? Do we have any other questions? All right. Okay, so today is the last class for this bootcamp, for this module, Python for data science module. So for some persons enrolled for the entire data science bootcamp. So and then from our orientation program, the bootcamp covers the Python for data science, data analysis with Power BI, and then the machine learning basics models. But we have some persons that only enrolled for Python for data science. So for people for Python that only enrolled for Python for data science, this will be the last live class we'll be having together. The next time we'll be having our another class will be when we'll be doing our demo day. Okay, so we'll be expecting you to submit your project. So we will only be working with people that actually submit their project, and those are the people that will be getting certificates. So we'll be vetting your projects, your assignments, as well as your participation before we can, issue any certificate. So if you want to get to the end of this program, right, successfully, ensure you participate in the Capstone projects, turn it in so that you get invited for the demo day. All right. And then be having about 2 mentorship sessions in between, which would also be sending mail invites to everyone to invite you for the mentorship program. So you can do well to attend those sessions as well, because that would also help you be getting a lot of information regarding how to advance your data careers. Okay, and then for persons that enrolled for other boot camps, I mean, I enrolled for other modules, not just the Python for data science. We have the data analytics with Power BI. So let me just go to our website. I'm just going to go to our website. Okay, so on our bootcamp page, we have this program. So for the data science program, right, which covers Python for data science, data analysis, Power BI, and machine learning basics. Okay, so we just finished the Python for data science, which is ending today. So the next class, the next one will be starting for the data analysis with Power BI from November 4th to November 14th. So we are still going to be using these same LMS. For people on the data science program, you're going to be using your same LMS that you have now, the same LMS access you have now. But for the live class, please let's pay attention. For the live class, you'll be getting an email to for another link, an email with another Microsoft Teams link to attend the live class for data analysis. So the meeting link for the Python for data science expires today. You'll be getting another meeting link to attend the data analysis Power BI live classes. All right. Okay, so please take notes. The same LMS access, the LMS access you have now would be the same one you use for the entire program till the end, because you enrolled for the data science program. Okay, but for people that enrolled for the Python for data science, the live class ends today, and then the next emails you'll be getting is the mentorship sessions emails, and then we'll be expecting your submission for the projects. Okay, so I believe you got that information. All right. Do we have any questions? Do you have any questions? All right. If you don't have any questions, we'd like to get your feedback regarding programs. We'll be sharing a link on you sharing your bootcamp experience on the group. Please do also fill that link. If you'd like to, get it published on our social media pages, do well to fill that link so that we'll share it with our community as well. Okay, would like to get your feedback regarding the program, what the experience has been like, and what you've learned so far. Or however, whatever feedback, would like to get your feedback regarding the program. All right. Yeah, so it's been a wonderful 3 weeks. Yeah. Thank you all to everyone that stayed true till this day. And we still have, for people on data science program, we have still have like 5 weeks ahead of us, and it's pretty long. So please, as many that have not catched up, that are yet to catch up with previous content, try as much as possible to do your catch-ups. It will pay you to pay you really well. Just try to do your catch-ups. If you need assistance, ensure you reach out. This kind of programs, you need to drive yourself. You need to, own your learning experience. Because we have a large pool of people, there's a limit to how much we can unhold you. But then that's why we have a community. We have a supportive community, people that would always, help. Please, if you have questions, do well to drop your questions as well. Thank you all so much for today's session, and have a great evening or morning. All right. Mm.